begin in our fish pose variation here. Fish heels variation. Just opening up the chest. Get a nice tilt here. Shoulder rotation, foot rotation, knee rotation. Gets involved here. Opening up the chest. Feel the transversus rectus abdominis. The ab obliques muscles get a nice tightening here. Lift up the chest and just breathe it in. Select 2 more breaths here. We're going to come into our full inversions, getting into our endorphins, as well as working the endocrine system, working the cortisol, dopamine, happy hormones as well, that will jump out as a result of our inversions. Okay? Now float effortlessly into camel. Here, elevate the chest. Now this position is the same position that we're going to try to elevate when we're in our inversions. Okay? Good. Raise the sternum up. Point and elevate the deltoids as they allow us to get this moving great. Okay? Much more anchor. A little bit under the neck or a bit up the chest for support. Throw it out. And then we're just going to really keep that in child's pose. Fingertips touching. Good. And then we need to begin straighten away into our back flip, which is really the reward for the combination of the entire practice of the week. Now, if you're not familiar with it, I want you to get back into the playlist and look at the Prasarita Foundation, which is a playlist that is available. There's about over 40 videos in there. Could be just after 50 videos in there. And it really breaks it down how to get comfortable into inversions. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed with the repetition. When we have targeted activity around the particular muscle or that we're targeting, we have to repeat it over a period of time so we want to get familiar with the practice. Okay? And you also will get comfortable with it eventually as time progresses. So don't get overwhelmed with the repetition. Okay? It's just for familiarity, especially the body needs time to adjust and to take in all that information, and then it will be able to give us the perfect code that will allow us to go further. Okay? So let us not get overwhelmed, but let us just take it in. Okay? It's part of the process. Now I want us to start practicing bending without moving. You see, when we move the legs are to move and we move our back down, we want it to be a natural progression. See what I did there? There was I felt like I pushed, and I do not want that. I want sort of the body to bend itself. Let's try this inside. It requires a little bit of mindfulness. So just take a few breaths here. Just pay attention to how the body bends itself. Okay? Without being moved. In time, the pelvis as well as the spine will form a perfect bow that allows us to get into it. Okay? So just go. So don't get overwhelmed with the retreat, okay? This is part of the process, okay? So this is sort of how we configure a moment here on the mat to just take it all in effortlessly and start down. Sitting bones in the back of the room. Just take a moment here for the crown of my head facing downwards to just take time to open up, to elevate, to try just to move forward. Okay? Good. Breathe it in. Good. One more time. And eventually, the brain, the mind will start telling you, the body itself will start telling you that you're ready to lift off into inversions, okay? And as you do so, slowly. Okay. You just move so slowly. And it requires a lot of mindfulness, allowing us to concentrate, okay? To concentrate and collect our mind back here on the left, allowing us to just have our head placed before we get into our bedrooms, okay? Good. Feel the transverses as well as the rectus abdominis. Really getting a nice tilt here. Feel the full effect. The flow of our practice. Taking in the full power of our practice. Right here in the midline. Good. Nice. Tug. A little dent. As we bend. All the way straight up into the wheel. Okay. So now we're coming to tripod. So don't get overwhelmed with the repetition, okay? It's our anchor, this movement, so that until it becomes part of the process, okay? So tightness of the hips, mental anxiety, stress, there is a major correlation, okay? So the loose our hips become, the much more freer we are to engage with the outside world. So let us pay attention to that and use it as an anchor. Now we're not going to make it all, we're in upper chest area, deltoids, sternum lift. You remember that frame that we froze when we did our camel pose at the beginning? I want you to try to elevate that as much as possible every time you elevate it. It just protects the lower back, it protects our obliques, it engages the entire frame of the spine, which is important, and it allows us to stay longer and just enjoy the movement and the poses, okay? Right here on the left. Good. Breathe in, and down. Good. So we're ready to begin with our inversions. And as you do so, we just take time to just enjoy. Now, we're engaging major muscle group. Find yourself sweating, but most of the time. I don't like to be sweating, but especially because we are balancing on the craft. Yes, okay? Good. Beautiful. So I'm trying to practice more and more, not pushing myself, but allowing for a sort of a bend to happen around the spine, sort of very slowly on its own, without me manually sort of forcing the fit. Okay? I find that it's much more pleasurable than taking that sensation. So now the body is overloaded with endorphins, cortisol, dopamine, blood will rushing to the head, which is good. We're just taking it again, just staying present. Now in time, we'll be able to lift off completely from the crown of the head, but for now, just enjoy bending sensation here. And then work. As slowly as possible. Final time. Side down. Good. This time doing it for Krobakasana. Crow, crow, crow. Bend, bend, bend. We're going to do it for okay. Without forcing. Beautiful. Final time for this practice. Stick it out in. Stay rooted, stay anchored. Nice and present, just taking the entire frame of the body. How you're feeling this. Which is the time of the day that you're on the edge, just practicing, just flowing. You feel really, really good. It's an ideal. Good. Visualizing and try out. Okay. Let's do a bend now. Beautiful. In time, the spine will form a perfect bow. Enduring as the great pose, knuckles down, elevate the chest up, raise the sternum, the tailbone, breathe. Then shift back into wheel. Good. Crown of our head, like down, down, and down. Enough like that for today. Good. Ready to come. Try vision here. Pay attention to the midline. Beautiful. As the hips open. So with our stress management system, emotional guidance system, our hips is a major indicator for us. Okay? So when we clear and stretch out the hips, it's exercising and releasing the brain in different parts of the body as well. Okay? So the systems are so integrated, so intertwined that we need to just pay attention to form. So now we're getting into our parallel pose, our head pose variation. Remember we're practicing for Hedrasana. And as we do so, we're doing so enough mindfulness, okay? Back. We're now going to come into our fish pose, heroes variation. Now, if you're not familiar with heroes pose, I want you to start sitting up on books or blocks. Just stack them up. We try to get comfortably seated right here on our hamstrings. Okay? Eventually, they are aligned so perfect that you be directly above your pelvis, pelvis above the shoulders, shoulders just beneath the hip line, okay? And eventually you will sit as comfortable as possible here for much more consistent time. Okay? Now many variations are available that allows us, when we get comfortable here, it eventually also allows us transverse rectus abdominis gets fully engaged, get into vacuum mode here, and just slowly 5 luxurious breaths here. Rest back in Shavasana, okay? Because it is very important that we don't just leave it in. We rest back in Shavasana. Very important for us, okay? Good. Take for Shavasana. Otherwise, we are with me here in Prasarita and just taking our final headstand from day here in Shavasana. Just close your mind, close your eyes, throat, tongue, eyes, the chest, left hand, left arm, left wrist, left hand, right arm, right hand, wrist, right hip, right shoulder, left shoulder, right thigh, hamstrings, knees, left knee, right foot, relax, throat, tongue, eyes, relaxing, the brain, the mind, is correct. Otherwise, you start to bring yourself back into consciousness now, into the room. Just begin to wiggle your throat, wiggle your toes, feel the temperature and sounds in the room. Back, to the brain, center, breathe. So waking up down here on the mat, closing off. Thank you so much for liking, watching, and watching this far. Hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment in the comments down below. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you dropping nice nuggets, supports, feedback. Much love to weightless. Let's see you again on the mat as we flow to Brazilian thigh. Count your teeth.